curious people. So this week is going to be a little bit different. I thought I would go through my kind of YouTube scrapping journey right from the beginning of my very first video, and to see from where we started and to where we've got to, basically. And you can see the pictures that are coming up now are like my very first thumbnails and a bit of a glimpse of what was inside some of those objects. And basically it's been so horrifically hot here in the UK that I just could not go out and do any scrapping. 42 degrees we got to. Today here where I am, it was teetering between 38 and 40 degrees Celsius, and it was just horrific. So yeah, I thought, well, you know, it's coming up for my 2-year YouTube anniversary, so I thought I'd take the opportunity to look back and do a bit of reminiscing. So I thought I'll put on some tunes, but I'll also talk my way through some of the stuff that I've shown you, really. And yeah, it's quite an eclectic mix, really. So I kind of started off the way a lot of scrappers start off on YouTube, and it's you know, doing a video on one specific item. So this was long before the Scrapchat started, so these were kind of random mixed length videos for Henry Hoover. You know, so it's quite a nice thing to look back on, actually. And yeah, I did some pretty basic stuff, but you know, stuff that, you know, like these boxes that just, it surprises you. It's amazing how still today, even though I've been doing this a long time, I still come across things that surprise me. Little, you know, tiny. This one was interesting. This was my first kind of small, this pre-pallet, that was pre-pallet surprise boxes, and there were some really interesting bits in there. Some really old kind of psychological equipment, which I thought was pretty cool. So yeah, the Dyson, that was difficult to get into. That was pretty hairy. And there's been a real varied mix of scrapping indoors, scrapping outdoors, and developments, really, in my kind of scrapping journey and my scrapping YouTube journey. So let's go through them. Basically, we're going to go through my YouTube life in pictures, I suppose you could say it is. Now, there might be a little bit of background noise because my daughter, of course, is here, as she always is, one of them. But yeah, it's amazing the kind of journey that you do go through, really, because lots of people say it, is that actually, so YouTube for me is it's really important. You guys are really, really important to me. I absolutely adore the interactions that I have with you. So my videos have kind of reflected that journey, I guess, along the sort of the 2-year sort of pathway we've had to get there. Because you know, at the beginning, when I was kind of doing the individual videos, I mean, I just adore finding out what's inside things. I love it. I remember saying to you before, when I did the Q&A session, when someone asked me how I think it was how I got into scrapping or something like that, and I just have always been fascinated by the way electronics work, but specifically how things that create pictures, you know, like televisions, and also the internet. That's always blown my mind. But I've just always had this sort of fascination of how something has been built, you know, right down to the circuitry to make these electronics work the way they do. So it doesn't really matter what it is for me. If I haven't taken it apart before, then I kind of revel in taking it apart, and I really enjoy showing that. So I'll do a video on anything electronic. Well, you know, within reason. There's some kind of couple of things that I might not take apart, but yeah, I love it. It could be, you know, it could be like this. you know, an old style flat screen. Oh my goodness, just quickly diving in here. Look, this is when I first got the workshop. Who remembers my workshop looking like that a long time ago? My goodness. It certainly doesn't look like that anymore. But yeah, anyway, so I'll take apart a TV remote, a DVD player, any kind of router. If it's a router that I haven't, you know, seen before, then, you know, I will take it apart and I'll show. And I like doing the little comparisons, and I'll take, you know, different models of the same thing apart, because over time they change. You know, we all know that the older the better. You know, that's a given, and old technology really is awesome to go through. But, you know, I also like just showing these random bits, like, oh, you can probably hear my little cat meow. Come here, Danny. You know, like my skip finds, for example. You know, if I find something in a skip, you know, like that inverter that we saw a few pictures back, or a shower, a different type of electric shower that I haven't done, anything really, it's really nice to be able to show other people what is inside this. You know, some people, time is money. We discuss this a lot in YouTube, and you know, there's hobby scrappers like me, and I'm sort of in the middle of hobby and making a little bit of money with it, with my having my licenses and actually doing, you know, official pickups. But I am really a hobby scrapper, so it's my love of doing it, and therefore my time isn't money, because, you know, I could have another hobby of going to the gym. Yeah, that's not me, is it? But you know, lots of people spend a lot of money on their hobbies, so it's okay for me to take a lot of time in micro scrapping something that, you know, if you're doing it because you're actually is your business, it's not worth doing. So, you know, I will take anything apart for the love of taking it apart and for the love of showing it with you. So we can see here the Scrapchats are starting. Now this is when it sort of changed for me a little bit, is when, you know, lots of people do live streams, and I've gained lots of new subscribers over the last sort of few months. So most people are aware of my family setup, but basically live streams are just not doable for me. I can't commit to, I never know what the situations are going to be here. I have one of my daughters has very complex needs, and, you know, I can never guarantee, and I wouldn't want to sort of flake in and out. So I do a weekly premiere instead, so that I could have the live chat running. And it's the best thing I ever did was start doing my Wednesday night Scrapchat premieres, because it's a longer video, which generally people don't like a really long video unless it's someone they really love, because it takes a lot of time. You know, you're asking someone to give up a lot of time to watch you. But when there's a live chat running, people, if it's too short, you feel a bit cheated because you dip in late, or you're just getting into a conversation, then all of a sudden it ends. So I tried to, at the beginning, was doing sort of this hour weekly Scrapchat video, and I love it, and I love the interaction and the banter, and it's all having you all guys in here. It's wonderful, and familiar faces every week, and those that can just be here when they can. It's just really nice, and even people that you don't see for a long time, it's lovely when they come back in, and it's a really nice sense of community, and I really get a lot out of it. And I think also because of my kind of family setup, and just the way I am really, is I'm not a woman who, you know, really goes out a lot. For occasions, yes, but I'm happiest kind of socialising on here with who I want to socialise, and having these really good friendships, and just having a real laugh. Really, it's the power of YouTube banter is phenomenal, and the friends I've made on here are great. And you know who you are because we talk sometimes, you know, not in live streams and stuff, and it's just it's really nice to the different levels. So you know, there's some people I only talk to in live streams, and you know, they mean the world because they're here, and familiar faces, and just you know, there's lots of people I talk to I've never even seen their face. I don't need to, because the connection is different. Anyway, I'm really waffling, but it's okay because I've got loads of pictures to go through while I waffle, so that's fine. But yeah, the Scrapchats changed everything, and it's just been phenomenal. So yeah, we sort of vary in the video content here. It's kind of getting into a bit more of, well, these are all the longer videos. I just had to feed my cat because basically she was just wouldn't stop meowing. I think it's the heat actually. Yeah, so I sort of moved into the street scrapping videos. Oh, this was that 4.5 tons that that one of my school, like this e-waste place actually, the school that I get those e-waste pickups from, that massive scrap pile they had where they were quoted a really insulting amount of money, and I said no, let me hook you up with my scrapyard, and they delivered that container, 4.5 tons, and I managed to get them something like £500 to £600 more than what they were quoted, so I was really happy to be able to do that. But yeah, when the weather was really good and my circumstances were a bit different, I was able to go out street scrapping every week, and that was fantastic. I haven't actually been able to do that for a little while, which is a shame. But with fuel prices right now, it's probably not the worst thing in the world. But a few pictures back, we had my 1,000 subscriber treat day where I went to Hastings. That was amazing. I mean, look at these boards that are coming in now. Yum. So yeah, it was basically just before my 1 year YouTube anniversary. I got my 1,000 subscribers, so I was really happy with that. Yeah, that was nice. It's been quite a journey. But it's street scrapping, yeah, I really love doing it. It's such a thrill and it's really addictive. But it's just actually quite tricky, and I get lots of comments about the X5. Of course, I do it in my X5. I haven't got a van or anything because I can only afford to run one vehicle, and it is my family vehicle as well. So I mean, it works for me, to be honest. You know, there's other YouTubers out there that just scrap in their cars, but you know, the trucks over here are really expensive, and I did look into getting one, but they're sort of, to get one that's not going to kind of break down straight away, so that's £17,000. So I was like, no way. I've never spent that much money on a vehicle in my life, and I don't intend to start now. So we're making do with what we have, so which is fine for now. I did want to grow the business, but of course, you know, chance to reminisce with me. I don't think I've stopped for air. I've yabbered on the whole time, and so there's no opportunity really to put any beats over any of this, so I think I'll probably just leave it as it is. But anyway, hopefully it'll be a bit cooler next week and I can get out there and actually start, you know, getting through some more of the scrap in the workshop. So alright guys, well, thank you very much for watching, and I shall see you next one. Bye. And this is Scrapchat 80, by the way. 80 weeks I've been doing this. Amazing. Anyway, take care. Bye.